Today we're going to talk about shrinkflation yet again. It is December 6th, Friday. It's a little late as I'm recording this, but hopefully this will still be uploaded on Friday so it can count as of this week. But we're going to start with a coffee brand that I've never heard of, but is a good straight up example of shrinkflation. Murchie's Fine Tea and Coffee bold flavor here. As you can see, went straight from 400 to 340. So this is an easy, straightforward example of shrinkflation, which I want to talk about the shrinkflation subreddit. I have to, even though I've got, how many up here, like 15 different examples up here, there's a lot more posted on the shrinkflation that I pass up that are a little bit more dubious, that I'm not sure if they're actually shrinkflation or like different product, different variations kind of thing. Or people posting things that they say are shrinkflation that aren't really shrinkflation. They're like enshittification kind of thing. So I pick and choose, but this is a perfect example of just straight shrinkflation. As the OP says here, 37% price increase, easy example to not buy this coffee anymore. Now, this is less of a straightforward example because you can't, I don't know, it would take like a really good researcher to be able to pull off an in-depth analysis of Oreo shrinkflation, but I would love to see it. This is a double stuff Oreo, which is insane. I would think to pretty much anybody on Earth who's ever eaten an Oreo before the last couple of years. Anybody who had Oreos before COVID hit would see this and say that's just a regular Oreo. But regular Oreos these days basically are like Oreo Thins. They have so little cream. And the double stuff is essentially a regular. And that's, I want to say that's not my opinion. That's a true fact. But again, I haven't done the research. But this is just, eyeball memory. Anybody seeing this can immediately say that's not double stuffed. That's just a regular Oreo. But in today's world, this is what double stuff counts as. So that's sad. And now we're going to move on to something that is even sadder to me personally. Taipei frozen meals. I haven't had one in a while for a very specific reason, which is that they shrunk, got worse, and raised the price. But this was actually a few years ago that they did that. I'm not sure like how their shrinkflation has gone since, but I'd say pre-COVID, like 2018, 2019 is when they switched to this kind of format of the bowl. And it, ruined Taipei for me. And they also raised the price at the same time as switching to this bowl and lowering the amount you get. Again, this is not my memory. I had to do this. I did some research on. It took me all of about 5 minutes to do. But I did some research to make sure that my brain is not remembering things wrongly. And I want to show you what Taipei meals used to look like if you used to buy them 5 or 6 years ago. This is what they used to look like. This is a pepper beef Taipei meal. They used to come in these packages that looks like, like a Chinese carryout menu thing. And it was 14.2 ounces for this. This is a good example. Pepper beef right here. 14.2 ounces for $2.27. And I'd say that is about right for pre-COVID, like 2018, 2019. That was pretty much what Taipei was. And today you can get the Taipei pepper beef. You get 10 ounces for $3.58, otherwise known as 36 cents an ounce. So you can straight up see we went from 16 cents an ounce to 36 cents an ounce over about 5 or 6 years, I would say. So that's an over 100% increase, doubled in terms of how much food you're getting per ounce. From Taipei. So yes, Taipei, if you enjoy them still, I guess great, but yeah, they're shit now. They're fucking trash. They're not as good tasting. They're 10 ounces of this is not really even good enough for a meal. Like 14 ounces was nice. 10 ounces sucks. And yeah, they suck. So fuck Taipei. Never forget what you lost, which is a decent, cheap option for Chinese frozen food, which doesn't really exist anymore. So thanks, Taipei. Let's move on to a very, 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 very good example of just straight up shrinkflation that is very much trying to get away with it, sweep it under the rug. The only reason they didn't is because this guy is pulling the old price tag out to show you that the M&M minis went from 10.1 ounce bag for $4.75 to a 9.4 ounce bag for 20 cents more. So again, perfect shrinkflation example. Raise the price while giving you less product at the same time. Not one or the other, both at the same time. That's the key to maximum fucking you over. So thanks, M&Ms. Dr. Bright toothpaste. This is another straightforward example. Again, I don't know the price of this one, so I can't say if they raised the price at the same time. But just going from 5 ounces to 4.2 ounces, simple. This guy says at least they shrunk the packaging too. That is fair. I do agree that it's nice that they shrunk the packaging too, but I'm just going to assume that these come probably in a box. Like most toothpaste come in a box beforehand, so you know, packaging concerns I don't think are really important. They probably changed the packaging to save the money, but I guess we'll give them, you know, we'll give them that. We'll give them 1 point against their 1,000 evil points. So this is an example of one that I would normally not include because I'm not sure if this is actually shrinkflation or not. This could just be a manufacturer defect, but this, if not shrinkflation, is insane because Rice Krispie treats are known for being fat. Like, they need to be like at least 1.5 inches fat, otherwise it's not really a Rice Krispies treat. Like, if somebody gave me this as a Rice Krispie treat, I would be insulted because it's just so thin. Like, I've never seen a Rice Krispie treat this thin in my life. Even the smallest fun-size Rice Krispie treat is still thick. That's kind of like one of the core tenets of a Rice Krispie treat. But I guess not. So I'm not sure if this is a good example of shrinkflation or not, because I'm not sure if this is just for the Halloween packaging they made them smaller, but that would still be shrinkflation because they were never like that before, or if this is just a defect that this guy got. But that's terrible. Here's a not quick, but I'm going to be quick about it, story about sanitary pads. So pads, women's pads in China, and how people just, you know, came together. The women came together in early November on social media and started measuring the pads to see how big they were because they felt like they had been shrunk, and they had. According to the investigation, nearly 90% of sanitary products were found to be shorter than advertised, with many containing reduced absorbent layers. So they finally got caught, and now they're trying to apologize, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, it doesn't matter where you live. The shrinkflation is going to get you everywhere, even in health products, even in something that should really not be fucked with, like a fucking sanitary pad. Like this is something that women rely on. Like, if they have a brand they're going to buy for years and years, you know what I'm saying? So they'll notice, I think, a shrinkflation on those, which they did. So they didn't get away with it this time, but yeah, even your healthcare products are not safe. So this is another one that really kind of pisses me off, Suave, because when I was a kid, I used a lot of Suave, you know, because it's cheap. Suave is the cheap shampoo. You get it at the dollar store. I used to buy it all the time. Sometimes I might still. I don't know. It depends on the day of the week. I don't really wash my hair that often, to be honest. But Suave Essentials shampoo went from 30 ounces to 22.5 ounces for the family size. That's the part that pisses me off the most, because I remember when I was a kid, you know, again, I didn't do the research on this, but I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, the family size Suave was bigger than 30 ounces, actually. Maybe closer to 40 ounces, because we had a family. You know, I have 2 sisters, and we would go through this shit. That's why we got Suave, because you could buy a family size bottle for like $3, and it would not last that long. It would only last like a couple weeks tops, when you have three kids using the same shampoo. So yeah, fuck Suave. 33.8. These were 33.8 ounces for the longest time, which is 1 liter. Yeah. So yeah, fuck Suave. One of the brands that appeal to value, and they're pulling back so far that their family size is not even family size anymore. 22.5 ounces is not family size. It's just not. This should be like against the law, honestly. We need regulation and advertisement, and I'm saying this very seriously. You should not be allowed to label something as family size when in the market it's not family size. When comparable products in the market, family size means bigger, you should not be able to do that. That would be a law that I would implement, but that'll never happen. Now a sad Christmas nightmare for all the fans of Linzer cookies. I'm not like a huge fan, but I know people buy these, their holiday treat and all that good stuff. They took off the powdered sugar from the Linzer cookies, which makes absolutely no sense because that's what made it a Linzer cookie. That was the point. It was the powdered sugar on the raspberry. It's what made it good. I haven't personally tasted one of these new ones myself, but you can see in here everybody saying, yeah, they taste like shit. It's sad. They don't taste right anymore. And the sugar was there for a reason, as it turns out. So Pepperidge Farm, again, fuck you. Amazon Basics, this is an easy one, an easy, straightforward shrinkflation case. They did take the pump off, which is kind of annoying in some cases, but that the pump is something you can argue replacing with the cap is fine and is environmentally friendly, I suppose, because the pump is kind of a waste of plastic, and you can switch it. You can take the pump cap and put it on another thing or whatever, but if you lose the pump cap, some people might be mad about that. I don't really care. What I'm more mad about is the 5 ounces that we lost, the 5.6 ounces that we lost in this transition. So Amazon, of course, obviously, we're not safe. They're not safe from shrinkflation. But yeah, even the Basics brand is not going to help. So Head & Shoulders shrinks. You say, oh, I guess I'll try the Basics brand. Well, the Basics brand is also shrinking, so there is nowhere to go. There is no alternative. You're just fucked. All right, now this is a guy who's complaining about Hot Pockets. That I put it in here because I'll take any opportunity to shit on Hot Pockets, because that's one of the deepest hurts I've ever had. I still think about it from time to time. The lack of sleeves in the Hot Pockets is possibly the worst shrinkflation move that's ever happened. The dumbest by far. It makes no sense, as this guy says. I think most people share this sentiment. Charge me more for decent microwave food, sure. Give me less or change an ingredient, fine. I don't agree with that part. But the only reason I buy Hot Pockets is for when I don't have a stove, so they better start selling reusable trays because they aren't nearly as good without. I really wish I could have been a fly on the wall for this meeting deciding this, because in my opinion, that's half of what made it a Hot Pocket. This is cold in spots and only has half the pocket to it. Pastry counts as a pocket, I guess. But I digress, whatever. If it weren't for the air fryer, they would never have gotten away with it either. Yeah, this is very simple to me as well. I made a whole video about it, but the sleeve is what made a Hot Pocket a Hot Pocket. That was an invention that created the Hot Pocket as a microwavable, fast, but also crispy snack. That's the whole point of the Hot Pocket, was it was something you could microwave, get it in 2 minutes, and it would be crispy. And now that just does not exist anymore. You can't do that. You can microwave it and get a soggy piece of shit, or you can air fry it for like 15 fucking minutes, which is, a waste of time, to get a slightly better Hot Pocket that's still trash because it's a fucking Hot Pocket, and they've gotten worse over time as well, flavor-wise. So yeah, fuck Hot Pockets. Again, I'll take any opportunity to shit on Hot Pockets. Lastly, before I get into this last story is about Australia, so if you don't care about Australian foods, you can leave. But the last thing before we get into a little bit of a dive in Australian holiday foods is Amy's cheese enchilada, which makes me sad. Amy is a brand that's known to be quality. That's kind of like their thing, but they're losing it as usual. Every single one of these brands is cashing in all of the goodwill they've earned over the years to fuck us to make more money. That's fine. That's just the status quo, but it's hit Amy's. Amy's is not safe anymore. This is ridiculous. I mean, even the picture showing the cheese on top, it doesn't show a lot of cheese, so I gotta give them that. But it's more, even the picture, which you would say is skimpy on the cheese, is a lot more than is what is actually here. And these cheese are like, they're like cheese shavings. They're not even shredded cheese. Like the picture on the front shows actual shredded cheese, and this is like, I don't even know. It's like the little, it's like it got shredded by an animal and then put on top of the Amy's instead of a freaking cheese grater. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened here, but that's ridiculous. You can't sell cheese enchiladas and put that amount of cheese on top. Um, yeah, that's just fucking ridiculous. And again, if you don't care about Australia, you can leave. But here's a whole article about 5 festive foods hit by shrinkflation in Australia. From Choice. I don't know if Choice is a great reputable news source in Australia, but this story is pretty well investigated as far as I read. I'm going to trust it as far as I know. They seem like they did a lot of research about this, but we're going to skip to the actual pictures because they kind of explain everything a little bit better. We have Rocky Road chocolate tarts. Now these look good. Like a lot of these things, when I look at European grocery foods, I'm like, fuck, I wish these were here. Like chocolate Rocky Road tarts sound hella good, but they're a lot smaller for more money, as well as salted caramel tarts, a lot smaller for more money. Lindt chocolate getting lighter. Lindt is bad. Don't even get Lindt no matter what. That's my suggestion. I wouldn't recommend Lindt regardless, but if you're somebody who gets Lindt Christmas medley or this Lindt champagne gala box, you're somebody who buys these candies to like share with your family and friends for Christmas and all that good stuff, don't. Fuck Lindt. They say high cocoa prices are behind the cutbacks. No, it's bullshit. Fuck them. Just stop buying it. Christmas cake loses mass. Kringle Christmas cake, iced Christmas cake. I like that they increased the price by 10 cents while decreasing it by 10 grams. And it's insane to me that they can get away with this in countries with a metric system. Like if I saw a package that was 100 grams turned to 90 grams, it's so obvious. I understand how they get away with it in the US when you go from like 19.2 ounces to 18.6 ounces or whatever. People don't notice, but 100 to 90 is pretty straight cut of 10%, while also raising the price, I don't know, 3 or 4% or whatever that is. So yeah, you can't even trust Aldi with their own brand cakes. So that's the story. That's Australia's story. Those are the 5 products they're highlighting here. Again, Woolworth is, I guess, the brand for this. So if you're in Australia, Woolworths and Aldi's and Lindt all can't be trusted. But, that's probably, not something you can do anything about because you don't really have a choice. But I would suggest just not buying these products if you can avoid it. And if it's a Christmas tradition, whatever, buy it. But it's bad. They're fucking us. They're fucking you. And that's all. Just wanted to let that be known. That's this week in Shrinkflation for today, Friday, December 6th. And I will see you all next time.